Hello and welcome back to KNF Design. If you're new here, my name is Katie and I try to bring a wide variety of different craft projects to you. If you ever have a craft project you would like me to show you how to make or just want to see me try to make it, let me know down below and I'll try my best to bring that to you. If you like today's craft project, make sure to hit those thumbs up. It really does mean a lot to me and it helps bring my crafting videos to more crafters like you. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you don't miss out on any of our crafting fun. So with that, let's get crafting. So most of you know, if you have been following me, I tend to not do the creepy, spooky Halloween things. But for those of you that like more spooky Halloween decorations, this project's for you. But again, it won't be too spooky because I don't go super gory and all of that. But what's really spooky is the price of this pumpkin. No, just kidding. This pumpkin I'm going to be using today is from Joann Fabrics, and I paid $4 for this, and I cut off the tag and realized it was supposed to be $17 for one pumpkin. I mean, it's a nice pumpkin, but that seems a little expensive to me. So never pay full price at craft stores. Usually you can get things discounted, which is always nice, especially for wallets. And then you can also use the lovely Dollar Tree pumpkin too. Maybe it'll be nice to have two different ones. We'll see how this one goes if I also do this one. This one, I bought it online for an extra discount, and I think it's solid. So this one will be kind of fun because we can curve out holes and put a light inside. This one we probably won't be able to do that. I'm still really curious about it. I kind of want to test it. We'll do a small hole at the bottom just to see if it goes through here. I've done too small of a hole. Yeah, I think it's solid styrofoam all the way through, so that's not going to work for cutting out eyes and putting a candle inside, but that's okay, it'll still work. We'll just do a little bit different, and we'll see if I end up doing this one as well, but we'll see. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to turn this into a jack-o'-lantern, but we're going to kind of droop some clay over it so it's kind of a ghost jack-o'-lantern type pumpkin. So we'll see how that goes. I am going to be just using some air dry clay. This one's a Sculpey. And so first I need to get a nice flat sheet of my clay so I can then drape it over my pumpkin here. I don't have a craft rolling pin because I don't use clay and stuff very often. So this is just a roll that's nice and long. So I'm going to use this to roll out my clay here. So if you don't have things, you can always kind of make do. And actually these two pieces of wood are going to help me make sure it's even. So sometimes when you roll, you kind of go too much on here and that side, and then you get it uneven. So a nice technique me put that away, is to put two similar items down so it keeps your rolling pin that same height so you don't accidentally tilt it. A lot of times people will use a paint stick to do that. For some reason, I only have one random paint stick left. I must have used the other ones for painting. So I found these squares in my stash. They're actually from Dollar Tree, and they're just these nice pieces of wood. That one's cracked or something. But yeah, the wood planks from Dollar Tree work well. Just something kind of the same height, so that way you can roll it, and it helps if it's longer. You don't want like maybe these pieces here, because then you'd go boom, boom. You're kind of jumping. You kind of jump as you go between them, so you want something nice and long that'll extend your entire rolling. If this is not quite a big enough space, we can put these together and it'll be a continuous roll, and then we'll do two on this side as well. So we'll start with this and see if we need more, and then I just put a piece of paper down to help protect my desk. And an Exacto knife will also be beneficial. If your pumpkin is solid like this one and doesn't curve, then you will also want some black acrylic paint, something like that. All right, so let's roll out our clay. So I went ahead and rolled out my clay here. Again, I'm using the Sculpey air dry clay. You can use, I know Dollar Tree has some air dry clay. It'll probably crack on you, that one. This one might crack on me too. But if we get cracks, we'll just kind of get a little bit of wet paintbrush and mix it with some of our extra clay and fill in those cracks if they come about. This is air dry clay because you don't want to stick this type of pumpkin into an oven. It will no longer be a pumpkin, let's just say that. So don't do a polymer clay, make sure you do an air dry so that way it'll dry just as this air is touching it. So I have some rough edges here, so I'm just going to go in and just kind of do some fun shapes to kind of go around some of this. This is a little tool I found in a paint kit that I had, and I don't know if it's even cutting through. Might need my knife. Just be careful with this. So we're just doing some fun edges. Before we place our clay on our pumpkin, we want to take a piece of sandpaper and just sand a pumpkin a little bit. This is just getting the edges a little rough so the clay has a little something to stick to. This is a 600 grit. It's just kind of what I had on hand. And then we'll also want to make a hole for the stem here. gravity take its toll, cut off any extra here. So my clay here is getting a little dry, so I have a little bit of water just to help smooth out the cracks. Can get it underneath to help the clay to stick to the pumpkin too. And really work on getting those edges pressed down. Kind of blending it into the pumpkin a little bit. So you can see this edge here, it sticks out quite a bit. So I'm just taking my thumb with that water and kind of pressing it in. So now it blends in a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm just kind of blending it all in and it's making it nice and smoother. I'm going to do that for the rest of this pumpkin and just kind of work on it. It'll take just a little bit of time, but I don't think you want to sit here and watch me do all of that. But it's coming along. Okay, so I have smoothed out most of my edges here. And made sure it was nicely pressed down, and that's what it's looking like. I really like this side, but it's kind of high up, so I probably won't want to do that for the face. Also, make sure I dip my finger in and just really get in those grooves of the pumpkin to make sure all the air is out, as well as just to accent that pumpkin so we can see it. So I could do that as a front. Now we need to decide where we want the face. I feel like this has the most drooping, so I probably should do this side here. Well, that's my least favorite side, but that's okay. And I didn't line my stem up the best. It'd probably be better like that. But that's all right. We'll do this as the front. So let me prop him up. So this is going to be the front of a pumpkin. And what I need to do is to carve out some eyes. Just going real light at first, so if I don't like it, I can always shape it back. that's not too bad. We'll go with that. So if this was an actual curvable pumpkin, I could cut all the way through and curve the pumpkin itself. But because it's not, we'll just curve out the clay. And then we'll end up painting that black, but just like we did with the edges, I'm going to use the water to help blend that in, so we don't have those rough edges. And I did see this on Instagram. Someone else did something similar. Their link was in the workplace, so I'll link them down below. It's kind of where I got this idea from. And just watch, I'm making some impressions with my finger, so I'll go back in and smooth those areas out too. Again, clay's kind of forgiving, which is nice. You can make this face as scary as you want or not. And then I'm just going to see how it looks tomorrow. If there's any cracks, we'll fill those in with some more clay and water. But if not, then he'll be pretty good. We'll just have to add the black paint to his eyes since we were not able to curve him out. So I'm just going to let this dry, see if it's dry by tomorrow, and then we'll continue. That's what he looks like right now. Alright, it's been one night's sleep. What do you think a pumpkin looks like? Do you think he has a bunch of cracks? Did he dry nice with no cracks? Let's see. Not too bad. He's a little heavy. Face looks pretty good. Just a little here. And then just a couple here. That one's a little bit bigger, but not too bad. We can cover those nicely. And then the sides look really good. I think adding that water as well as it dried helped. So I've got just a few here. I don't think I added quite as much water on that side, but it's nicely on the side of the pumpkin, kind of melted into it looking. Again, we just kind of rubbed that into the pumpkin with our finger, and that's what did it. So let's fix up these little holes. I'm just gonna get some of my clay wet and then just kind of melt it into our sides here. You can paint it on with a paintbrush. I'm just using my fingers because I like to be messy and go in with it. But as you can see, that crack is now gone. I'm gonna cover up the rest of these little spots here. And with that, you can't even tell he had any cracks in him. He is good as new. I did leave a few little, I left a little bumpy there just because I thought that kind of added to him a little bit. It's actually showing more bumps in the camera than in actual life, which is funny. But But yeah, it's okay to leave just a few cracks. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. Like I left that one there, that little bend, on purpose. And also if you have any of the clay on your pumpkin, just get some water and it'll wash off. I'm just going to paint the inside of his eyes black, and then he will be finished. Again, if you have a pumpkin that can be curved, just cut a little hole in the bottom, stick a tea light, and if you did not already curve into the pumpkin when you made the eyes, you could do that now. It'd be kind of cool with the eyes glowing and stuff. But since this one's solid, I'll just paint it black. And with a nice little paint job, he's all done. I like how he turned out, it's cool. I decided not to paint the stem. I did like that it had a little bit of different color to it. Maybe if it was more that way versus straight on, you don't really notice it as much. I don't know, I just decided not to paint it. Maybe in the future I'll paint it, but I decided to leave it. And here's our ghost. He's nice and dry and smoothed out, and the eyes are still a little wet, but besides that, he's ready to go. I would not put this outside for outside decorations. I'm afraid the air-dried clay might crack with the cold temperatures. Maybe if you live somewhere warmer, it might hold up better, but I would keep him as an indoor. You could set him in a window and have him looking outside at trick-or-treaters if you want them to see him. But yeah, he's gonna stay inside for me. I hope you had fun crafting with me today and a little bit more spookier, not quite as cutesy as I usually do, but I still think he's kind of fun. So I look forward to crafting with you next week. Bye for now.